What's happening, guys? My name is Austin, and thanks for tuning in. And today I want to talk to you about a problem that you may not even know that you have. And it's called MEV, which stands for either minor extractable value or maximum extractable value, depending on what definition you're reading. But essentially what this is, if you've ever looked at the Devve chart, and you see transactions that are coming through on DEX tools, and you see a little red guy next to it, that is something called a sandwich bot. Well, what a sandwich bot actually does is when you put a trade in, and let's say you leave your slippage at, I don't know, 2%, let's call it. What they do is they buy before your buy goes. And then what they do is they let you buy and they sell into your buy. And what they're doing is they're extracting a little bit of value out of your trade. And so this happens all the time. And people, as simply as forgetting to set your slippage at a low level, you could become a victim of this. And what they're doing in a very literal sense is they're siphoning coins out of your wallet, which eventually could make a big difference. And so because we love you, because we care about the Devve community, I want to show you guys precisely how to do this, how to make sure that you're safe. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do a transaction and I'm going to set my slippage at 49%, right? Huge. I should always get sandwiched at 49%, but I will not get sandwiched because of the way that I'm going to show you how to go about solving this. So let's do this real quick. Let me throw this up on my screen. And the first thing I want to show you, so I'm on the Devve chart right here. Timestamp this 25 cents. It's not going to be there long. And what I want to show you is this little guy right here, right? And see, it says he drained 0.6997 ETH from this poor fellow. How did he do that? My gosh. Okay. And if you scroll through the chart, you're going to see these little guys show up quite a bit. They're going to show up a bunch. And this one that ends in AE13 seems to be a very large culprit here. And if you keep scrolling, you're going to see them showing up multiple times. So what they're doing is they're literally draining money out of this trade, a trade that would have, let's say you're making a trade and you would have gotten 1,000 tokens. Maybe you're only going to get 990 because of the way that these guys operate. And so what I want to do is I want to give you a little bit of background on MEV, teach you the definition. I've showed them to you on the chart, and then I'm going to show you precisely how you can ensure that you are never sandwiched again in a transaction. So let's kick over to this tab, and this is cryptobriefing.com. And I chose them because they give a really, really good definition of what MEV is. So MEV, they call it the invisible tax on Ethereum users. So MEV is an abbreviation of minor extractable value or maximal extractable value. And it refers to profits that can be made by extracting value from Ethereum users by reordering, inserting, or censoring transactions within blocks being produced. And it typically affects decentralized finance protocol users interacting with automated market makers or other apps. What does that actually mean? Now, that's a question we need to answer. So to know that, what you need to understand is what a mempool is. And I want you to think of a mempool kind of like the waiting office at a doctor's office, right? So you walk through the front door, you wait in the waiting room before you're actually taken back in to get your shots or whatever you're doing at the doctor's office. So when you initiate a transaction from your MetaMask or your Rabby wallet, you're going through something called an RPC server, right? Which is a remote procedure call. See, I never would have known it had I not Googled that. Okay, so you have an RPC server in your MetaMask, and by default, it uses an RPC server called Infura, INFURA. And that is kind of the default RPC that connects your MetaMask to the chain, right? MetaMask, again, a wallet is just an interface for you to read the chain. And if you hold the private keys, you can interact with the wallet. Now, the problem with the RPC that is by default in MetaMask is it uses a public mempool, a public waiting room. So pretend you were going into the doctor's office and you're sitting in a public waiting room, and everybody everywhere can see that you're sitting in that waiting room, right? And so they can maybe ascertain from that, oh, he's going to see the doctor. Maybe there's something wrong with this guy, right? Okay, I'm getting off on a tangent. Let's tie this back into MEV real quick. So when you send a transaction through, it goes into the mempool before a miner, or in this case, a node, picks it up, which is, in the case of Ethereum, it really depends on the gas that you've set. So if you set a high gas price, it could be picked up in as little as 30 to 45 seconds. If you've set a low gas, meaning the GUI is higher than the GUI that you've set in your wallet, then you could be sitting there pending for a long time. Now, with your transaction is all of the data of your transaction as well. So what that means is the token you're buying, the slippage that you have set, the token you're swapping from, the token you're swapping into, the contract that you're swapping in, which is, Uniswap, or maybe you're going through a DEX aggregator, things of that nature. And so this public mempool basically contains all of the information about your trade. That includes your slippage. Now, if you send a transaction through to the public mempool with a slippage of, let's say, 3%, what these bots do is in a split second, they calculate, can they pull value out of your trade? The way that they do that, like I said earlier, is they buy before your trade actually goes through by setting higher gas, or if they're running a node, they order their transaction before yours. Your transaction comes through pushing the price up, and then they sell into you. Right. And this all happens in a split second. And to call it an invisible tax on Ethereum users is pretty accurate. And so this happens to people all the time. It's not something you want to happen to you. There's also another type of MEV, which is called just-in-time liquidity, JIT, J-I-T. I know it's a funny name. But essentially what that is they see a big order coming through on the public mempool, and they add liquidity right before your order goes through. And then they yank liquidity right afterwards. And so what that essentially does is it collects them the trading fees that are on it. And in some cases, like let me show you this one here, we had just-in-time liquidity combined with a sandwich. And so what he did is he bought right here. This is the actual, whatever you want to call it. This is the actual MEV bot. He then added liquidity, right? And then you bought into his added liquidity, and then he withdrew the liquidity here, and then he ended up selling it here. And so that was like, this guy profited 0.7 of an ETH. So he profited like $2,100 on this particular order. This guy got absolutely lambasted in this trade. I hope this wasn't you if you're watching this. So anyhow, what's the solution to this? Well, if the big problem is the public mempool, then the solution is going to be a private mempool. And there are services out there that are absolutely free to you that no matter what slippage you set it at, they will not hit the public mempool and you will not get sandwiched. And I want to show you what those are real quick. So there are two services that do this. One is cow.fi. Now this used to be called mevblocker.io. It's owned by CowSwap. And if you know anything about CowSwap, they're an aggregator. So what they do is they pull all sorts of different DEXs in and they split your order up between them. But they have been well known for being an anti-MEV aggregator, I guess you would call it. And so that's one way that you can do it. The other way is going to be something called flashbots.net. Now, flashbots.net is the OG. They're kind of the originator. I like flashbots a lot. So the URL that I'm on right now is protect.flashbots.net. When you go here, you're going to click this little get protected button, and you have a couple different ways if you can do this. You can do it fast if you want to optimize for speed, or you can do custom. I'm just going to do custom real quick to kind of show you what you can do. Now for speed, what you want to do is you can click confirm here. If you click send to all builders, that's going to take away a lot of your privacy. All right. And so really all you need to do, send it to Flashbots, click confirm. That you can have full privacy or you can have the default set. Now the default set is going to give you a faster transaction, and also something cool that these guys do. If MEV is possible on your transaction, what they kind of do is they beat the bot to get there and then they refund it to you. So it's really interesting the way that that works. So I'm going to click confirm on the default set. What's the refund share? 90%. I'll click confirm. We've got all this stuff going here, and all I have to do is click add to MetaMask. When I click add to MetaMask, I know you guys can't see this, but I will share that tab. So hopefully that's showing up. Yep, it is. Delightful. So I clicked add to MetaMask. That's showing up. So I'm just going to scroll down here real quick and click approve. Approve. It's now going to switch my network and go away. So I got to share screen again because I didn't realize it was going to shut me down like that. All right, so back to Flashbots. We're going to share that. All right, so we've added to MetaMask. All right, so what do we need to do now? Let's go over to Uniswap real quick. So this is Dex Tools, but if you go to the Devve chart on Dex Tools, you're going to see this little link here that says try Uniswap V3. So I'm going to click that, expand it out, and I'm going to share that tab with you. And so what this is going to do, let's get rid of that. And we want to do Devve. So let's do Devve. Bada bing. There it is. I understand. I'm going to connect my wallet, my MetaMask real quick. Now, remember, I'm on the Flashbots RPC right now. I added it to MetaMask and then I changed to it. So when I initiate a transaction through this RPC, no matter what my slippage is set at, it's not going to send it through the public mempool. It's going to use a private mempool. And as a result of that, the bots cannot see my transaction and I will not get sandwiched. And let me prove that to you right now. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to set my slippage to something you should never do. 49%. It's just for the sake of the video. And I'm going to buy 0.01, so $31 worth of Devve. I should get 122. Now, when I click swap, I'm going to have to do an approval first. Oh, no, I won't. It's ETH. Okay, so let me click swap. And then we're going to go and we're going to take a look at the transaction before it's picked up by the nodes. That's important. So I'm going to click confirm, view and explorer. Now, I want to show you what it says here. It says this transaction is made through Flashbots Protect RPC and is not shared to the public Ethereum transaction pool, which means the bots cannot read this, okay? So I got quoted back here, let me share this tab, of 122.667. I actually received 122.667, okay? If I go back to Dex Tools, and I want to show you my transaction here. So it's going to be like the very last one. Here it is, 6914, right there, no sandwich bot. And I was set at 49% slippage, which means any bot in the world would have been able to sandwich that, and they would have. But because I used the Flashbots RPC, I didn't get sandwiched. And the MEV bots, they don't have the ability to read my transaction. So when you see people in Telegram saying, hey, bro, because I'll call you bro because we're in crypto, set your slippage lower. They're not giving you the actual solution. The actual solution is to change your RPC. The way that you change your RPC is you go to protect.flashbots.net, go through the little rigmarole that I just showed you on here, add that RPC server to your MetaMask, and keep that one on your MetaMask for everything that you do in Ethereum. And that way, all buys, all sells, everything that you do on Ethereum will never again get sandwiched. I hope that's been helpful, my friends. My name's Austin, and I'll catch you guys on the next live stream. Take care.